Folks, it happened. We did it. We got through the Flips Out Challenge. We've got the money from flipping comic books. We are at the convention now. And we're going to go ahead and grab some stuff. Now, here's the game plan. First things first, you guys know about the hit list. I told you about the hit list. The hit list is a list of all of the cool things that I want in my collection that means something to me, because that is the trick here. We don't want to just get garbage. We want to get things that are cool and things that are meaningful and things that we care about. The part 2 of the game plan. The first day of convention is where you go to get the cool stuff that everybody wants, and you need to get to it fairly quickly. The third day is where you go to get deals on stuff that is left, because nobody wants to pack it up, nobody wants to take it back home, they want to get rid of it. That is what the game plan it is. Currently day 1, we're going to go around the convention floor. We're going to see what are some of the bigger items on the hit list that we need to make sure that we grab. So let's go ahead and do that. Got a bunch of McFarlane stuff here. Could maybe fill in some holes. Let's see if we find anything specific. This is cool though. This battle damaged Batman Beyond glows in the dark too. Oh, that's kind of sick. Okay. Okay, this is a maybe. This is a maybe. So that action figure booth was cool. I feel like there's got to be more though. I only saw the one. Ah, this is the way to do it. Loose figures. Loose figures. That way I don't have to worry about taking them out of the box and playing with them, because I can. Oh! Well, they have a SpiderMan figure. I've been looking for something like that. Let's check it out. Alright. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Good basic Spider-Man figure as something I do not have quite yet in my collection. Ah, the old trusty Spidey armor. You know, I haven't used the Spidey armor much before. Could be useful here. And that is what I ended up picking up on the first day of the convention. The first day of the convention was quite a bit slower, but I also knew that something like this was going to go pretty quickly. It was a mid-tier item, and also it's just really cool. And I wanted to get at least a Spider-Man figure, and this one is cool. I played the PS1 game, so this particular costume holds a lot of nostalgia factor for me. Any one of you who has played the PS1 game could probably understand that. This thing is iconic as heck. And so there you go. Then we move on to the second day. Now, the second day, I wanted to dedicate that mostly to comic book hunting, because the first day of the convention was quite a bit shorter than the other two. And so I wanted to spend the second day to go through specifically comic books, see if I can find some really cool loose issues, see if I can find some cool trades, and try to fill out some of the books that I found on the hit list. And what I find is really cool and really surprising. Check it out. Alright, found trades. Didn't find any trades yesterday, so this will be good. Let's go ahead and check them out. See if we got anything cool here. Guys, this is way cool. I dig it. This is sick. It's a little small. Alright, so I actually did find a video game booth, so I guess we're going to have to check out the video game list on the hit list and see if we can find anything. Yep, that's a price I can get behind right there. See what we got. I found Ultimate Marvel Team Up #1 already. That one looks like a lot of fun. So let's check out this Superman one. Let's see what they got. Alright guys, this is actually perfect. This is the era that I love collecting. Like this era of Superman specifically, I just absolutely love. And they're pretty cheap comics too, like generally speaking, and especially here, this is still in the dollar bin, so we're doing well here. We're doing well. So I was able to find a bit of a quiet corner here at the convention center to kind of gather my thoughts and share with you guys some of the stuff that I got. And kind of a life lesson that I thought about when I got here, but then a little kind of forgot. Today was a big comic book haul day. The hit list, having the hit list really helped with making sure I stayed on track, making sure I didn't grab too much that I knew I wouldn't enjoy, but also kind of allowed me to still, browse around and find some cool stuff. But let me go ahead and show you some of the comic books I was able to get off of the hit list. Superman War of the Worlds. Now this is a cool little like Elseworlds thing where they would take like a big classic movie or a classic story and they would put a superhero in it. Stories. Batman had a Nosferatu one. There's a Metropolis based off of the movie, the old silent sci-fi film that has Superman in it. Pretty cool stuff. Toy Story. Guys, I've been collecting Toy Story. The tricky bit is that for the life of me, I could not remember which ones I had. But last year at Salt Lake Comic Con, there was a booth that had a bunch of them, and I wasn't sure which variant covers I had and didn't have, so I ended up leaving stuff behind. This time, though, the same vendor came back, and I just cleaned them out. I just took the rest of the Toy Story books. I guess I left one, Mysterious Stranger, but I knew I had that one. And then there was another booth that was selling $1 and $2 comics, which is fantastic. That is a screaming deal for comics, and you kind of saw what that was about. I got some brief video there. While I was there, I was able to find this. I made a video on this one a while back. This is the most wholesome Superman book ever written. It's basically just Superman, Lois, and Jonathan just hanging out at the county fair. It is a fantastic, beautiful, fun story. It's just a wholesome read. It's a good time. Action Comics Annual #1. I love my Batman Superman team-ups. Those are always great. Speaking of Batman Superman team-ups, I've got Batman Superman number 25. Well, I guess this is Superman Batman number 25. I have the Batman variant of this cover. When you combine the two of them together, it makes one longer poster cover. So, I was happy to find this. Superman Batman number 50. I don't know if it's part of a longer story, but it is a number 50 and it's a bit bigger. It's a bit heftier, so I'm excited to dig into that and see what that's about. Lori Lemaris, probably the only other person that could win Superman's heart outside of Lois. Just saying. Adventures of Superman, number 424. This is the first post-crisis issue of Superman. They changed the title of it. They put Superman back to #1, and the Superman book that was ongoing, that was already at issue 424, they changed to The Adventures of Superman, and this is that book. This is John Byrne's last book in his original Superman run, and this is one of the most controversial Superman stories ever. In this one, Superman was in a different universe, and the three Kryptonians, sort of the ones from Superman 2, destroyed everything. And so Superman actually executes them. And this was a huge deal. Like, this upset a ton of people. John Byrne left, and so all of a sudden the writers had like this thing where they're like, where do we go from here? And where they went was they made some of the best Superman stories out there, from Exile all the way up to eventually the conclusion of the death and return of Superman, all because of this book. Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, the comic book adaptation. I've heard the comic book adaptation is actually really cool, but it was $1, and I love collecting the big, like, one-shot, obscure stuff like this. It's just kind of cool. It's just fun, and I'm excited to dig into it and compare it against the movie. I could probably make a video out of that if you guys wanted, so go ahead and let me know. Legacy of Superman, just a lot of Superman stuff. You guys know I love Superman, and I wanted to fill up some of these holes here. Legacy of Superman was like a special released around the death of Superman. Ultimate Marvel Team Up #1. Not only is it a #1, but it has Spider-Man and Wolverine, and I mean, #2 had Spider-Man and Hulk, so I'm sure this has to be a one-shot, so I'm really excited to dig into that. 2 bonus comics that I got, and then I'll show you the big one. Secret Origin, Batman versus the Mud Pack. I don't know who the Mud Pack are. They obviously didn't have any staying power, but I got Secret Origin's Green Arrow and Speedy, and I really liked that book. So I'm sure the Batman one is going to be good too, right? Like a Secret Origins Batman. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. I asked the people to come up with a random Batman comic to help fill out the set. They gave me this one. It's Tinian and Snyder. Tinian's actually here. Wonder if I can get him to sign this. Wonder how much it would be to get him to sign it. But I also don't have an emotional attachment to this, so I don't know if I need to sign it, get it signed. I don't know. I don't think I will. Guess I didn't find the quietest corner ever, huh? The Man of Steel #1 shirt rip cover. This completes my entire collection of the Man of Steel. I got it on digital. Digital is where is the first place where I got it and where I discovered this series and fell in love with it. I got the trade, the comic book trade, the like first edition comic shop trade. I got the first edition bookstore trade. I got all of the issues, all of the single issues. And now I have the variant cover for the first issue. My gosh, oh, I'm so excited that I got this. This is a beautiful cover. I've been looking for it. I haven't been able to find it like locally, so I came here and it was there, and it was in the dollar bin. That's why I love collecting this era of Superman. It didn't hold value like at all. And so they're all in like dollar bins and like cheaper bins, and so it's really easy to just gather a whole bunch of them. And gosh, I loved this story and I loved this book, and I'm so excited that I now have officially the entire collection there. So cool day. I got some really great stuff. Lots of good comic books. You guys know that I love comic books. This channel is like primarily about the comic books themselves. And so it's just really great to be able to find them. Tricky bit is though, you guys have been following this challenge and you know that I kind of had a set budget and I didn't go over. And the idea was never to go broke. The idea was to just be in a place where I was comfortable enough to like find some of the stuff that was on my list, as well as like find some of the extra fun stuff. And the problem is though, I did it in the wrong order. And I think this is an important lesson for you guys who are on like a souvenir or comic book budget. So let me explain what happened here. Now the problem is that from the beginning of this, I had a limited budget. And these are dollar comics. I kind of started filling up the swimming pool, so to speak, with sand rather than boulders. Instead of going for like the big stuff first and then, you know, using the leftover bits to fill in the spaces, I ended up putting myself in a weird position where I have enough budget to continue to get small stuff, but there's no more small stuff that I want. But I don't have enough budget to get like the big stuff either. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do. I know one method a lot of people use is that on the third day when everyone's packing up, you can negotiate a lot more deals because people just don't want to pack up the stuff that they have left. And they can just hold on, like you can get a lot more out of people that way. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. So right now, I guess I'm kind of looking at like mid-tier stuff, see like how that works. But I guess that's a hot tip for you guys if you're trying to collect at a comic convention. Boulders before sand. Get like the big stuff first, and then fill in the gaps with your budget with the small stuff, and then you never have to go over budget, and you know you'll probably end up with more stuff that you enjoy. Anyway, we'll go through the third day and we'll see what updates I can give you. This is it, guys. Day 3 of the convention. We have only today left, less than a day, I guess, because it's kind of a shorter day. This is going to be the day that determines like everything else. Like what happens now that we are on the last day. Oh, just a bit of an update. I guess yesterday we realized that we kind of spent our budget in the wrong order. So we had a budget that was too small for the big stuff, but too big for the small stuff, which was a little bit weird. Still don't know what we're going to do with that. I don't know. We'll walk around, see if we find anything. A good thing is that typically on the third day, on the last day, you get a lot more special deals because nobody wants to take the stuff home. No one wants to pack it up. So if you can save someone from having to pack it up, great. So the third day usually has a lot of good deals. I don't know if that's going to play into our favor, but I guess we'll find out. And so I just walked around the convention and I checked out like every vendor like maybe 3 or 4 times, hoping I could find like that one thing I wanted to walk away with. I saw some action figures that were pretty cool. I saw this one place that was selling like these printed like flowy shirts, and you guys know that I kind of like that style. That's kind of my style. But at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to support one of the artists that was there. Because like all kinds of people show up, all kinds of people are trying to make their dreams come true, and it's like, you know what? I can support an artist. And there was one booth, the Astro Stash people. I've already talked to them like tons of times. I interviewed them for a couple more videos that I have in the pipeline. And they were just super cool, super chill, super kind. And something they had there, they had this this drawing challenge thing that they were doing, that they were doing for like their commissions. And it was very, very cool. So go ahead and check that out. Ultimately, we're going to do roller character from the people we keep talking to. Astro Stash. Hi guys. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We have this character sheet here, and we have various dice. I love dice. We're going to roll them and see what we get. Okay. So first step.
First step is you roll a d4.
D4? We got 3.
3, so you're going to get 3 characters.
Okay.
Now you roll D20.
D20. 16, which is Iron Man. And roll it 2 more times?
Yes, 2 more times.
10, She-Hulk. And 18, Homer Simpson. All right.
All right, now you roll D4 again.
Oh, okay.
For how many accessories you're going to get.
1.
1 accessory, okay.
All right, and the
D20.
2, Ash's chainsaw.
Just keeps getting better.
All right.
All right, D4 again.
2.
2, so 2 colors. So
all right, and that's a D10?
D10s, yes.
All right, the 2 D10s are 5 and 7. So that's
And black.
blue and black. That's a good color scheme.
Yeah, it is. Now you'll flip the coin, and tails, because it's Sacagawea, tails is the female, tails is male.
Right. Okay, here we go. Oh. It's tails.
Tails is male.
Now,
All right.
okay.
Very cool. So I guess we'll come back later and see how that happened.
So can I get your name?
Taylor.
Taylor with a Y?
Yes. Taylor.
L-O-R. Okay, Taylor. Then we're going to start this. Give us about an hour,
Cool.
and we'll get this done.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And this is what eventually came from it. Now, this is kind of neat, because, like, we tried running the probability numbers. We tried to math it out, like, to see, like, what are the probabilities of getting the same thing twice, and it would be nearly impossible to do it. And so, like, this is a completely 100% unique drawing that I was able to get at Comic-Con. Like, no one else is going to be able to get this organically. So, no, I thought that was a really cool way to end the convention. I had a ton of fun while I was there, and I learned a lot in the build-up to it. I learned a lot about collecting. I learned a lot about my personal tastes and interests when it comes to collecting. I learned a lot about, like, what reselling market is like, and I'm kind of excited to share, like, kind of a recap of everything I learned with you guys, so stay tuned for that. And hey, thank you so much for joining me across this whole adventure. This adventure has been fantastic. We've done some really cool things, and it was all possible because, you know, you guys were kind of supporting me as we were going along, and we had like this goal, and it was a really fun thing to try out and do. It was a fun experiment, so thanks for coming along that experiment with me. And hey, until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Remember to always be your best self.